It should be required reading, I think, before people leave high school, frankly. And if you don't read it, you're racist. Happy Black History Month. In honor of Black people everywhere, I wanted to talk about some media, books, and TV shows that feature Black people, highlight Black people, and you should watch this month. First, the book Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston. This book follows a enslaved man's journey, or formerly enslaved man's journey, living life in the American South. I actually don't remember what state this takes place in. This is a very moving story, mainly I think because of the excellence of Zora's writing. She writes in a way that helps you understand how the person speaks, so like the cadence of their voice, but also like the accent in which they speak, and I think that's wonderful. I also really love that there's this like compassion with which she writes the characters in her stories, or at least in this story. But I will also say this is it's nonfiction. She's just describing, almost like an anthropologist, like describing her observations and her interactions with this person. I think it's a really, really, really great book. It's also deeply sad, deeply tragic, so warning, it's not a happy book, but I think it's important for people to read it just to understand like the depth of sorrow that people can go through because of how they have been mistreated and othered in life, and especially in terms of like the history of America, seeing how people have been, just like the weight of like slavery and how it had and has ruined people's lives, to be frank. And also like it talks about like how his life was when he was living in, I think he was Nigerian, but like before he was brought over, he talked about his family and the village life, and it was just a very interesting book. Yeah, this is a book that I would give 5 out of 5 stars, and I think, again, it should be required reading, I think, before people leave high school, frankly. And if you don't read it, you're racist. Next book, Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This book is a Carrie retelling. It is dope as heck. I also think it takes place in the South, but I don't remember what state. I read this book a while ago, so that is why I cannot remember. Point of the recommendation is that the book is really cool. It follows this girl who lives with her dad, and he is just like putting all this pressure on her to behave a certain way and to be afraid of the world, but she wants to start like blossoming in her high school, and things finally start going her way, but then because of the cruelty of the world around her, things fall apart. And it's just imagine Carrie, except Carrie is Black, and we have to deal with like this huge racist town and police brutality, and it's also being talked about over a podcast. I haven't watched Carrie or read it, but I think this book is just like it reshapes certain parts of Carrie. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I guess because I haven't read Carrie, I'm going in with just like enjoying the story. I can't compare it to Carrie. Maybe it's worse or better than Carrie, but I felt like it was a 5 out of 5 book. I think other people disagree with me, but I think this is a great book. I think people who read Carrie think it's not as good as Carrie, but I don't care. I loved it. I personally loved it, and I think it's just a fun, creepy read. It's definitely giving Black Final Girl, if I remember correctly. No, yeah, it is giving Black Final Girl. And it's giving funny, because I love that, like, it's like the story is being told, and then it's like the podcast analysis of the stories is happening at the same time, and you kind of start thinking like, oh wait, like do you think that happened like that, or is that like fantastical, or like is that true, or what happened? Because just like in Carrie, hopefully I'm saying Carrie and not fairy. Just like in Carrie, there are magical powers in this. So it's like, did that actually happen? Like, is that real or not? Oh my gosh, there is so much betrayal that this girl had to go through. Like, her dad was weird as heck. Then she found out all this stuff about her family, and her dad had like tried to like kind of conceal her mom and like the background of her mom, and he just like had so much hatred for her and like frustration towards like his past relationship with her mom, and like it was just crazy. And I think her grandma was also crazy. Like, she poor thing. Great book, should become a movie. And I don't care it's a Carrie retelling. I think it should be its own movie. Becoming by Michelle Obama. I have never read this book, but Michelle Obama is Michelle Obama. If you haven't heard of her, sorry. I'm gonna read this book this month because I must. I love her. I think she's an icon. I watch her interviews and I think she's funny, wise, witty. And I would love to hear about her story. So I think she's just... this is a memoir that people should read. I think they'll also learn from... I think when you read good memoirs, you get inspired. Or you just are left changed. So I think this is one of those stories that will probably inspire me and propel me forward with more clarity and ambition, perhaps. But I have not read it officially yet. I haven't read it at all, actually. But if you've read it and you think it's great, let me know. I recommend it still, just based off of the power of other people's reviews and recommendations, and the fact that everyone I know who has read it has said it's so good and life-changing. So yeah, I think it's probably just a great book. Read it or else. Yeah, exactly. Read it or else. Now to absolute cinema. Now to TV shows. First, we have to talk about When They See Us. This is by Ava DuVernay. I actually watched the first episode and I had to stop because I was getting so much anxiety, but I'm going to watch it this month all the way through. It will probably stress me out, but alas, these things occur and you move forward. I think this is just a really important story to be told on the screen, and it's based off of an actual case in New York. And again, just like with Barracoon, sometimes these stories are unsettling and tough to consume as like either as a reader or a watcher, but it's important to like understand the history of it. And I think sometimes it takes like watching the gruesomeness and like the tragedy and the cruelty that happened to like be really moved forward with more empathy and more compassion and more like, again, clarity for how you're gonna move in the future. So that's why I want to watch it. Also want to support Ava, who I love very much. I think she is such a cool director. I don't think I've actually ever watched any of her like films or TV shows yet, but I follow her on Instagram, and she's just always giving great advice and supporting other cool authors. Cool artists. So yeah, Scandal by Shonda. I'm actually recommending Scandal and Bridgerton just to support Shonda, okay? Scandal is insane. It's a crazy show. It's very long. If you haven't, you won't watch all of it in this month. It's not gonna happen, but it's really fun to watch Olivia and Fitz fall in love and ruin America. Like, genuinely, they have so many funny moments. I might as well pop into TikTok. Like, they're just funny, chaotic people. And when it comes to Bridgerton, I love Kate and Anthony, and I'm gonna rewatch their season this month because I need love. And although neither Kate or Anthony are black, Shonda is, and so watching them is supporting a black person. Exactly. You see how it's connected? Precisely. I also might watch the Queen Charlotte one, but I don't know, the Queen Charlotte one makes me sad. I don't like watching sad love stories. I don't know. Queenie is the last one. Queenie is a book and a show. I really liked the show. I haven't read the book yet. The show is just like following this woman who is going through a breakup, and it's making her realize she has a lot of like unhealthy behaviors in her life. And she also is reckoning with the fact that her relationship with her mother is like creating a ripple effect in her life, where she is having like extra moments of anger and like unresolved baggage is popping out in instances where it shouldn't, because of how she feels towards her mom. And also like the main thing that it's like showing up in is in her romantic relationships and like the choices she's making romantically. So it's a story of self-discovery, self-improvement, emotional trauma, and I think self-love, romantic love as well, I guess. The show is like pretty graphic at times. It's definitely explicit, but I feel like all the shows I recommended were explicit, so yeah. But I think it's really fun. It's mainly like she's going through like her dark night of the soul, hero's journey, trying to like sort herself out, and she goes through a lot and she does a lot, and her friendships are oof. She goes through a lot with her friends. It's so sad. Like some of the moments are just like, ugh, girl, oof, and her friends, some of them suck. I didn't expect some of what was said to her to be said to her, and I was a little shocked. I'm curious to see if there's like more detail in the book. I mean, actually there's definitely going to be more detail in the book, right? Yeah, I'm just curious to see how the book is compared to the TV show, and like how much more is in the book, and if I'm gonna still like the story when I read the book. But yeah, I think that is a really, really interesting, it's just an interesting story. I think it was a great show, well acted, well cast, because I swear the book cover and the actors, like, it was just like, whoa, that's so cool. That's how I knew that the show was based off of the book, because I was like, oh my god, that is definitely about this book. And I also think that the book and therefore the show are based off of this woman's life, so like it's kind of like her using fiction to like tell her actual life story. So it's like there will probably be like creative changes, but I think that's also cool. I think it can be relatable to a lot of people, Queenie's story. So yeah, talking about Queen Charlotte and Queenie, wow. And that's exactly how I want to end this off, because it's Black History Month. We are all queens, aren't we? Happy Black History Month. Thank you for watching. Please support local Black artists, creatives, and business owners this month if you so wish. Yeah, love you. Mwah.